Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with the last match for tonight's night of college Call of Duty. I'm your host, OG Susano, joined by my co-caster, the man, the mad lad himself, Vaudable. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. I mean, we had some very quick and dry matches earlier on, so hopefully this one lasts a little bit longer so we can get into at least a map 4, not to have all sweeps on the day.
Yeah, it's been a really quick day, so we might be seeing some sort of a relativity of algorithm here. Who's to say? Not me. I'm not a math major, but we got
Me neither.
Adrian Esports going up against USI Esports. Quite a big matchup here. 2-0 going against a 1-1. Audible, how are you feeling about tonight?
Feeling good. I mean, looking at USI Esports, they were trying to do the best that they could this earlier week. Now they're feeling a little bit more confident. They got a win earlier on today against Cincy Academy, and now they are looking to get a second win, rally back from maybe a bit of a lackluster performance in the first week. Whereas on the other side of things, Adrian Esports went 2-0 to start things off, so they're feeling confident going into today. They want to dominate and continue that streak.
Very much so. Very much so. And it's going to be a very interesting matchup tonight. I mean, Adrian Esports going up against USI Esports. Some new names here for some people out there on our casual viewers. But I'm excited to see what we've got going on tonight. It's going to be quite a map pool set up for us. Let's see if we can get these maps going here very soon. Because I heard it's quite the spicy one with a double red card vault sandwich here. Break it down for us, Audible.
Yeah, I mean, we have red card back to back. Hard point's going to be so tough, especially once you get into like the stands area, because there's no cover for anything. You get flanked on every side, and it's always so frustrating to play on. But Search and Destroy is going to be a completely different vibe once we switch over to that afterwards. Looking at the comparison between these two teams when they did play Cincinnati Academy, because that's kind of the only thorough line, we saw that, well, Adrian Esports kind of struggled a little bit more on Search and Destroy. They lost the map to Cincinnati Academy there, whereas on the other side of things, we saw USI Esports kind of dominate in their Search and Destroy against that same college. So looking at that kind of comparison, maybe Hardpoint would be more beneficial for Adrian Esports, and the other side of things, USI Esports looking towards that Search and Destroy to clean up.
Very much so. It's going to be an interesting night with a lot of things going into our statistics here, but both of these teams are ready. We got an 8-player lobby, 4v4 Classic Yo. So we're going to be heading into this red card, a hard point. Quite an interesting one indeed. Me personally, I'm a huge AR, so this type of map is my bread and butter. I love holding down these lanes. Love holding down that outer stadium side and being able to get some good angles. But with every good AR, is a great sub running the routes for them. So let's get this one rolling as USI Esports, the man himself, Grim, already here, ready to set up within box office. He's trying to get some opportunity. We will be able to see some kills go through. A nice 2-for-1 swap, but Brando's out here all alone, all by his lonesome, and Q, nicely done. Cleans out the outer, opens up the inner. Nebby able to make some moves here. We'll be able to hop in, try to help out the squad, but looks as though it's just that early ballroom blitz for the spot.
Yeah, the ticket moves are going to be kind of crucial to hold on to. Make sure you have those sight lines on to the actual first hard point as well. You see more towards the out yard area, and IQ really racking up those kills, putting a couple shots in, and a nice one there to finish things up before transitioning onto the actual hard point.
Very nicely done. Here we go already. Shots are going to ring through on the outside. Nicely done. I feel like we've just been seeing him all along the entire time, but a 5-1 3 streak, not too bad. Off with the AR, nicely done is what we wanted. Clear some of that opposition. IQ once again back at it with now 2. Almost gets the 3rd here, but Rim will be able to give his team a bit of a breather off of that Slatage that just went down. Dusk, nicely done. We clean up the site. We got to set up for this next opportunity to facilitate a chance, but looks as though we're just bunkering down for now.
It's a good comeback already from Adrian Esports, about to tie things up in points. First P1 didn't work out in their favor, but transitioning back onto P2, very confident, especially when it's more of an open area for their ARs like you talked about.
Very nicely done, and oh my gosh, a 3-for-2 right there. We're getting IQ. We'll be able to get some shots, and it's Brando. Pulls out the pistol. Always better to pull out that secondary than reload the primary. And well, it's going to be none other than USI Esports who keep themselves within this lead. Adrian did make some decent comeback, but still, they will be able to facilitate. They get themselves into that routine, into the spot, into the hard point. Now we're just holding out.
Solid transition, but not going to last long enough for Dusk there. Good croc down by USI Esports, but again, the flank by All Day SGT looking as the captain in IGL for this squad to take things to task against this USI Esports team. Is trying to lock down this point as best they can, but lost their lead, and while the lead's just racking up as much as it can for the other team, look at that kill feed.
Woo! That's a nice 4 down right there. Nicely done for the side of USI Esports. They get themselves back into the hill here. Well, they will be able to get themselves into a bit of a lead, but it's Ken IQ. He's not letting his boys die like that, trying to slide for the squad. Will not be able to get it, though. It's all good. Adrian Esports, the damage has been done. You look at the rotation already. You got 6 and 7 trying to hold out, but with only one man left, that being Dusk, it's looking like it's all on his shoulders to maintain this facilitation. Does not happen. Transitions go through. Blue's here towards the edge. He's got to go under. We know how this one goes. Like Fort Knox in there. Can't even slide through.
Not much to worry about too much, but we do see a battle underneath the stage, and it will be won by Koff that time. Dusk with the push in as well. Pre-firing the corner, noticing that nobody's there. Trying to see if they can smoke him out as best as possible. Waiting for the perfect time to strike. Got the angle and the kill. Hoping to hold things down as best as possible. Lead still not in the favor for Adrian Esports for much time that we saw on that P2, and P3 maybe not working out the way that they were hoping it would.
Fortunately right there, the tail is all the time. Coming up just a little bit short, though, All Day. Nicely done. Cleans out 2. Cleans out 3. Goodness gracious. Adrian Esports, this is what I was talking about, Vaudable. I love this AR work. It's all about holding those lanes, letting your subs go through. You see a bit of a fight, but like a punch in the teeth, just comes at you real bad.
USI just kind of gave up that point a lot faster than they did any of the other ones. The longest lead we've seen for Adrian Esports transitioning onto that P5, and already USI Esports getting it set up towards the stadium itself. A good drop down from Grim. Patience is a virtue, especially for this USI Esports team who looks to push things back.
Yep, and there you go. Right now, the encampment's starting to feel a little bit of heat as the pressure's starting to boil. All Day, nicely done. That's 3. Oof. 1 man left. That's going to be Grim here. They're sniffing them out. They smell the blood in the water. They got to get going, but though Grim's going to slide out. Goes for 1. Goes for the 2nd. All Day. Nicely done. Switches it up. John Wick style. Sub in hand now. Gets the kill. Brando.
All Day, really the only one able to do much. And again, this team of Adrian Esports, sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, you're
doing the best they can with a high ground just to lock down this point.
Very nicely done. They clean out, and goodness gracious, it's Adrian Esports with some absolutely very definitive kills there, Vaudable. I mean, goodness gracious. We're seeing some real stone cold plays out here right now.
Good trades back and forth, too. Not many streaks so far from these players. All Day, really the only one that we've seen get on a hot streak for Adrian Esports. Most of it. And then trades back and forth. Will rallies behind the other team. Brando, of course, the other one popping off on the side of USI Esports, but it hasn't been enough for them to push on back towards P1. That's been playing for quite some time, but All Day is not going to last the entire day on that point.
Not entirely. Grim's trying to slide through. 19 and 14. He's got the dream. He's got the vision. Pistol out. No shot. No dice. We'll be getting a bit of an unfortunate visitor there from Blue, but Koff, Brando, nicely done. And there's the man All Day. Making some play. 17 and 12 on the 1. Looks for the 2nd here, but hasn't even finished his first one. And goodness gracious, now that's some fluidity right there. Gosh, Lee.
Like whack-a-mole, but you're trying to get them with a bullet instead of the hammer, and it's not working out whatsoever. But the flank around by Mebby, pretty solid that time to get position for P2 already. And these transitions from both these teams, critical for them to either get their lead or hold on to it. Already they're managing it to flush out Mebby there on the point. Ken IQ definitely using that IQ as necessary as possible, but they won't last long enough onto this P2. Instead, USI Esports will finally get their lead back that they've been trailing for a couple points here.
Yeah, very much so. You saw that split push come in, really did a number on them, but nicely done. Brando inside the site. This is what you want out of your OBJ players, just going insane with it. And I mean, it helps to have an AR to be able to get those long angles. Grim here towards the top lane, though. We'll be able to get the kill. It's sticking out by Dusk, though. 1 person left to facilitate. That's Mebby. Trying to keep it alive, and nicely done. They get the trash time. Nades will come through, but we got to pivot over. We got to go look at this rotation. 7 and 5. That's going to be Blue and All Day. who are currently here, helped out with that rotation. Then they get a bit of some of that icing on top of the cake, but we still got to bake this one out. So here towards the edge lane, it's going to be Brando and Cole. They go for it all day. Dusk, they get it done. Clean out the infiltrators. Only one left. That's number 4, Koff. They all get sent back. Time to reset.
Nice angle from Ken IQ too to flush out Koff on that play. Grim will quickly take it right back into their favor, push into the point as best they can, but Mebby can't stay alive to save themselves. All Day is killing everyone on the point, but Koff does bounce back themselves. And still not enough for this team of USI Esports to fully push in the lead back in the favor of Adrian Esports.
I mean, goodness gracious, you see some gray on the kill board, but at the end of the day, it's All Day and Ken IQ with Dusk. Those 3 right there doing some great work, but you can't count out Blue, though. Blue's definitely doing a lot with that OBJ time, facilitating that success for his team. Close to 2 minutes, Vodable. That's what I want in a teammate right there.
That's what we want to see with that objective timing. When you see on the other side of things, USI Esports very spread out between all of them except Koff and Grim, looking to lock things down here underneath the stage this time. And this is a point that we saw them kind of struggle in before, and this will be the time for them to shine instead. See if they can get this lead in their favor. They look strong at the start of this game, but so far it's turned around the favor of Adrian Esports with their rallies that we've seen in the last few points. Yeah,
very nicely done. You see that util usage going in hand. USI will be able to flip that script real quick, get themselves back into that talking narrative. You will see Ken IQ, though, sliding through. Remember, it's always a hard one to try and get through this point, but Ken IQ is just going to create that pressure. Get the warning sign. Let Mother Base know there is an infiltrator. Ken IQ, nicely done, gets the kill. They are able to facilitate some sort of success here, but Adrian Esports, they get some of this trash time, majority of it, but we look towards this rotation. We've got to get ourselves going to the stadium. And it looks as though that All Day, he's moving and he's grooving. And he potentially get this one here.
Might be able to. Man should take out one. Dust backs him up as well. Pinks out at the wrong time. Mebby is there instead. More trades back and forth between these 2 teams. Neck and neck as it can get. 200 to 196. It'll be even as quickly as it can. Grim, though, with the 2-piece, does look as solid as they can. Getting on to this P5, and this one's going to be so much more crucial, so you get that advantage moving into the reset.
Moving and grooving, 34 seconds left, 211 to 200. You won't see a win here off of this hill, ladies and gentlemen, but you will definitely see some good slays, and that's what Ken IQ's doing. Nice little penetration shot All Day towards the edge there. Nicely done. They clean out the opposition. Only 1 man left. All infiltrators gone. Security has clearly gotten these ruffians out of here. Well, now we go towards the ticket office. Unfortunately, getting his head ripped off. That's going to be Ken IQ, sadly. So we will see a bit of a rotation. Nades come through. Mebby, nicely done. But All Day's here. He's got that AR in hand, that prolific AR that's gotten us so many opportunities for this squad. Let's see what he can do with it.
That's what they need to do. All Day is going to get the headshot, looking for a second, but can't clean up. Ken IQ instead backs them up this time. Mebby, who's been a really good second SMG on the squad, could not stay alive long enough to keep them in this fight. Adrian Esports rallying back so they can get the lead and at least make it competitive towards that P2. But Grim clears things out themselves, and everyone of USI Esports are popping off.
Yeah, very nicely done. 231 to 224. They get themselves back in the lead. This is where we're going to potentially see a winner here, ladies and gentlemen, within this P1. Nicely done. Dusk here towards the outer lane, just looking for somebody, any sort of stragglers. Will be able to get a nice little drop shot kill. Flips the script, gets himself into the site. And there's only 1 man left here, and that's going to be Brando. They will not be able to win off of this one, but with only 6 seconds to spare, you got to think here, Vodable.
You do have to think. You got to give it your all, especially for this P2 that's been pretty dominant. I've seen from Adrian Esports. They've been locking it down, noticing every time USI Esports are positioned for it. But no, USI just have to wait patiently for it, and they will take the victory.
Goodness gracious, like a thief in the night, just absolutely coming in. And I told you, we just needed 6 seconds. That's all we needed for the side of USI. And my goodness, literally, while everybody's focusing that transition, that rotation into P2 on this new set, just absolutely slays out, and they get those last 6 seconds. Quite literally, for the last second. You saw that right there. It went 0-1, 250. Bang. Done. Done and dusted.
This was all about the transitions here, Susano, in this first map. It looked like it was beneficial for Adrian Esports when we saw them getting onto the hard points early on in this initial rotation. But afterwards, they were the ones who were holding on for as long as they could. And the other team in USI Esports were having to infiltrate every time, and they were doing a lot better job of it. Then we saw kind of that transition come from Adrian Esports. Okay, we got to lock things down as quickly as we can and hope we can hold on as best as possible. And then towards the end of that game, USI just turned things up a notch in that final P5 and P1, and then just took it back at the last few seconds, as you mentioned. So clutch plays from both teams, but USI seemed to have the smarter game sense at the end of the day to get them the victory.
I agree. And something that I kind of want to point out is, Adrian Esports, we saw, a lot of great slays. We saw some great hero moments, but we saw Blue with close to 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I believe he came in at 2:46. Absolute insanity right there on the hill. While USI, you saw a minute 10, a minute. Some good opportunities there for that squad on the side of Adrian. That hey, maybe we take a bit of some of that offload off of our boy Blue here on the Adrian squad, and maybe try to facilitate a little bit more of some of that teamwork like you were talking about with that transitions, trying to get themselves into more prolific spots.
I mean, seeing how back and forth this was based on this map is insane. Just how competitive our game was here compared to the other series we witnessed earlier on today. This is what we were hoping for here, Susato. This is what we wanted to see. You could see the transition, the start of the game in the favor of USI Esports, then quickly moved over towards the P3 all the way into the P1 yet again for Adrian Esports to get a bit of an advantage. And afterwards, we saw it flip-flop until that final clutch play from USI Esports to take those last 2 points in tandem and get the victory at the end of the day. And those last 2 points is what won that specific hardpoint map. And now we're going to search to destroy. I don't know who's going to take this one because of how close that was on hardpoint. It's the same map.
This is definitely going to be a bit of an interesting one because we see that interesting power that comes out of the side of USI where they're a little bit more fluid within their teamwork. Granted, there's not as many flashy plays as I would say that you would see on the side of Adrian, but still, on a map like Red Card, when it comes to search and destroy, it's all about covering the pockets and the gaps, making sure that your team has the proper area control to be able to force these players out of those hiding spots and get them into the open spots to be able to get those kills. So I'm really going to be expecting a big comeback out of Adrian here to realize, hey, maybe we were just a little bit too, forward facing, a little too egotistical in our chows. Let's try to get ourselves back into this, mode where each one of us are kind of moving together like a machine, each cog representing its own function.
This could be the chance for USI Esports to really break away as well. I mean, I talked about the difference going into the comparison of these two teams facing off against Cincinnati Academy, and we saw that the search and destroy worked out more in the favor for this USI team. They won it, I think it was 6-3, whereas the other way it went all the distance to the final hour where it was a 6-5 victory for Cincinnati Academy over Adrian Esports. So maybe this will be another quote-unquote dominant victory for USI Esports or another close affair. Either way, I'm so happy we had a great hard point before this.
Very much so. I mean, we saw how fast those last series were, and to be able to, last matchup of the night, be able to give ourselves a nice little, boxing match of a hard point, back and forth, left, rights, and uppercuts. I mean, goodness gracious, that's exactly what you want. Or, next map's going to be same map. Going to be on that red card. We're going to be seeing a bit of a slower pace, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be swapping into our search and destroy, where it's all about working amongst your team, getting those kills, and getting that bomb down. It's a very interesting one to say because, I mean, you look at on the side of USI Esports and on the side of Adrian. On Adrian, you had Blue, who had 9 kills and 29 deaths on that hard point. Going to be a bit interesting to see what level of slaying that he can bring towards this next one. And as a former OBJ player of myself, I understand it. You got that time on the hill, you got that opportunity to be able to work your angles in the way that you want. But when it comes to search and destroy, that's really where it's time to shred off the leather and get yourself into that fighting mode and put on that chainmail and get rolling.
I'm expecting big things here again from all day. I mean, we saw them slay out as the main AR and flex player for their team specifically, so probably IGL as well, just based on them being the captain for their squad. Other side of things though, I mean, Grim looking pretty solid for their team as well from what we were witnessing, 29-27. But Brando, I'd say, really stepped up a lot when it came to their slaying ability as the second AR. Koff and Mebby, I think, also made it interesting when we saw those flanks come out from Mebby. So I think any of these players in USI can really pop off. But as you mentioned, really got to see how Palu's going to perform this time.
Yeah, very much so. So let's get this one rolling now. We see Brando here towards top, watching over. He sees the opportunity there, but waiting for that player to come out. That's going to be Ken IQ. Already the red alert has been given. He see his teammates here, Grim and co, starting to move through, but it's really up to Brando to be able to get a nice kill here. Bit of some shots, but we'll be able to get away with his life. And so, once again, this battle of attrition has begun, and both of these teams are just waiting for that opportunity to get somebody off-angled here.
Oh, yeah, waiting for that first blood, because that's going to change the entire pace of this first round. Really peeking out around the stage. It's a lot easier, I would say, to defend on this than anything else, because there's so many long sightlines that you can cover from on red card, and you already see that with the positioning we witnessed from Brando up top. And then, well, Dusk has to just hope that they don't find themselves in the Viper's pit once they go towards that A bomb side, but decide to flank around towards a different direction, towards B. Wisely so. Blue covering some of the back angles just in case we see a flank coming around, just because of how quiet USI Esports have been so far.
Very much so, and with that timing comes the kills. 3 seconds left, not going to be enough time to get the bomb down. Just got to stay alive, and goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, this is a master class in indecision right there. Lack of
Yep.
lack of opportunity. You know, at the end of the day, you got to make your own luck. You really have to get yourself in those opportunity points and those pivots, because, I mean, coming down to a timeout like that, goodness gracious, not ideal. Not ideal at all.
No, not ideal. We saw the first blood go in the favor of Koff that time, so curious to see what the adaptation is going to be on the other end of things. But either way, beneficial positioning is what won that first round in the favor of USI. So looking towards Adrian Esports on how they bounce back this time on the defense end.
Let us see as we get this one rolling now, and Adrian Esports are here, already ready to meet that opposition towards A, but waiting once again is going to be USI. Smart, holding out. We saw how a bit of some indecision affected the side of Adrian last time, so we will be seeing them get a little bit more aggressive here. Dusk doing some shots from Ferns. It looks as though, once again, this inability to make a move past that 50-yard line is going to be a big nail in the coffin. Should we not see anything in the next 20 seconds?
Basically, a standoff is what you always see towards the center of the map, waiting for somebody to push, somebody to make a noise, so you kind of know where they're coming from. You already see Koff, who got the first blood last time, fall earlier on to Ken IQ, and that's going to be a huge point for Adrian Esports. Oh my goodness. Oh, Blue, no. Missed out the timing, but it worked out in the end, and now there's only one player remaining on USI. It's Mebby.
But a 2-2 here split in terms of the lives. 15 seconds. Mebby's got to go and cover his teammate here while they try to get this bomb plant. Stuns will go through. Nothing yet, and there you go. Bomb has been planted. Playing his trigger discipline. Nicely done. It's a 1v1. We lost the lives, and they're chasing. Dusk is chasing. Goes for the shots and takes out Mebby. And that's going to be a round for Adrian Esports. 1-1 now.
Huge for Dusk on the final kill to take out Mebby. Spotted them out at the perfect time as well. The rotations didn't seem to favor Adrian Esports initially when you saw Mebby get that kill to enact the 1v1 situation, but bomb already down. It took a little bit of time for them to get into that position when it was already a 2-on-2 situation. So as soon as they drop both their players and you're back facing the other enemy of Adrian Esports, there's nothing that Mebby could have done in that situation.
Yeah, a bit of a rough one there. I mean, the 1v1 didn't exactly go on to the side of USI, and, you know, now we'll see what potential, 1-1 bring us in terms of variables. Now we'll be seeing Adrian Esports here on the attack again, and USI Esports just playing it slow here. Don't want to give out anything, and right below his sight line, that's going to be Brando not seeing the opposition moving through the concert side into the tunnels, and nades will go through, but no ice.
Yeah, they know to kind of stun out that window area, so nobody can really spot them when they're flanking around, but shooting straight through it, probably spotted their foot or something at the last second. Trades back and forth, though, so gonna kind of even things out.
Very nicely done. 3-3 now in terms of the man count, and bomb has been planted.
Oh, this flank.
Oh, goodness gracious. This is the moment. This is the opportunity. Ooh, nicely done there. Mebby with the flank kill, but Brando's going to need to... Oh, and you see the whack-a-mole come out there, but Brando's going to go for the defuse. A very risky decision here with how much time is considered left, and that's going to get them off, but not enough time. And so, Adrian Esports play their lives, and they play smart, and they get themselves that round.
The consistency in the bomb plants that we're seeing so far from Adrian Esports. I mean, they weren't able to do much in the first round, but they have really turned things around afterwards, especially with that initial stun that we saw towards the red window, and then afterwards pushing forward, getting the bomb down as quickly as they could, and then positioning themselves in tough spots to flush out. Worked out in their favor for that victory in round 3, and now eyes on USI Esports and how they bounce back.
Here we go now. 2-1. Adrian Esports showing us a bit of some good gusto in this moment as they start moving aggressively here towards tickets, but we'll see number 6, Rim, with the bomb. Doesn't want to give out his life just yet. Trying to see if maybe somebody's going to slide through this box office, but all the baits are pushed out with all this noise of breaking glass, but nothing's going to be bit just yet here, Vaudible.
Yeah, that's how most of these rounds have been starting so far in Red Card. Trying to snuff out where the other team is. See exactly where route they're running at this point. Glass breaking definitely makes it easier to know exactly where they're coming from. So Blue, last line of defense, takes down one, might take down the second, but is not... Oh, I thought they were going to be sniffed out themselves, but they just were patient and stood in the doorway for them to die.
Oh, goodness gracious, you will see a 2v1 now start to occurring. 30 seconds left. Brando opens the shots. They now know where he is. Blood's in the water. Sharks are on the move. Adrian Esports does get Can IQ. Nicely done. The timing's right. And no, my goodness. Switching the gun in such a pivotal moment gets him killed right there.
Muscle memory is what it's got to be at that point. You're just so used to running and gunning and doing what you can that you might not realize, oh, the person who I'm trying to take out is right in front of my face, and maybe I should have done that behind a pillar instead. They had time, but their brain was in another area code.
Clearly, it was still up in the air on that one, but now 3-1, Adrian Esports setting themselves at a dominating timeline potentially, or to Doctor Strange, it could be the one. Well, let's see now as we get this fast movement towards a 3-man stack. Unfortunately, Grim is the only one here right now. Brando is on the top, but a nade that far out may not get anything, but we will see some opportunities here as the trophy does go down. And a bit of a pivot coming out of the side of Adrian Esports, surprisingly.
Well, the flank, though, that we're seeing here from Blue is crucial. Opens up some space for them as well to push down, but Blue can't win the 1v1. Koff takes them out, but gets taken out themselves, so evens up a little bit. But that was a high IQ flank from Blue. Just did not work out.
Did not work out indeed. And
oh, no.
gets caught in the ATS right there. That's going to be Grim, sadly, but 3-2 now in terms of the man count. Brando and Mebby haven't exactly had the best game themselves, but we'll be trying to make something happen here. Shots will go through. Dusk has been counted out. Mebby will get the kill. The Jackal. It's a 2v2. 25 seconds left. No chance to mess up here, as you got to get going now.
Gotta get that bomb defused as best as they can. Brando pushing towards it. Trying to get covered, but Can IQ right behind them. They've got plenty of space to work with. They'll be able to hear the sound cue as well once the defuse comes out. They get the one kill that they need. And again, this time, USI Esports eliminated while they're going for the bomb plant. And Adrian Esports, I mean, what a rally after a couple of mistakes we saw in their opening push with the bomb in round 1. Afterwards, it's just been a full push afterwards and no real worries in the individual gunfights.
Whew. Well, here we go now. Adrian Esports, 4-1. What we needed out of them was some good opportunities to be able to come back in a 1-1 fashion here. And just flexing the dark spine here. We get it. We get it. All right. You know, not all of us have that much time, but it's all good. You know, some of us love the game a little more.
He's got all day.
That's all. That's it. Gosh, dang it, bottom.
I'm sorry. Also got the RCXD though. Curious how that'll do.
Yeah, curious to see. And very smart, clearing out
Yep.
the tunnels right there. Not trying to see if anybody's in there, but everybody's just stopped on the side of USI because they know that RCXD's on the move. And Lord knows if we get an RCXD kill here, that would be insane. But looks like nothing's going to come out of that one, unfortunately. So 4-3 in terms of the man count. USI, maybe sees the opportunity here. Trigger discipline at its finest. No bomb defusal. Sees him going under the concert stage. And we see the AR. Nicely done. Can he react on the second? No, but that's going to be Koff over there towards the other end. And they're about to pinch him.
Oh, no. Maybe looked the wrong direction at the wrong time and couldn't do anything about it. Can I queue a clutch again? And it will be Adrian Esports mopping up the competition to be on a game point.
Oh, my gosh. That is insane. Not only did Ken IQ get the kill on his perpetrator, but he slid back around and got the second one and immediately flipped USI's chances of a round. Now it's 5-1.
Wow. That was the one round I was like, okay, USI have this in the bag. Maybe has been clutch when it comes to flanks in the past, especially when we saw on hardpoint, the way that they were able to get towards that kind of P1 flanking around when most people were kind of focused on the hallway area. But instead, Adrian Esports of Ken IQ really having the IQ necessary for the potential win there. 6 kill streak so far for them, 8-3, and no surprise, RCXD coming out and might be a bit more successful, but kind of easily snuffed out.
Very much so. And here we go, Ken IQ here towards the edge of tunnel right now. Not going to be able to get a kill, but all day nicely done. Blues 5-4. Big ups to the OBJ player himself. Nicely done. Get 6, 4v2. Potential to end this round. But it's going to be Koff here towards the top. No shots ringing through. We'll be able to throw a nade. No dice. And so we will see the bomb planted. And now we got to get going. Maybe once again on the flank. But oh! Sniffing it out like some bad milk. And that's going to be Adrian Esports now locking in their map win. 6-1, 1-1 in the series.
I said, oh, yeah, maybe, you know, the one kind of point between these two teams that they both played Cincinnati Academy and that, well, USI Esports looked better in that and they won the hard point. Yeah, they might win this one, but no, it was the complete domination by Adrian, and I think a lot of that had to do with the way that they were able to win those individual gunfights. We didn't see enough out of USI Esports, enough first bloods either. I mean, we saw like 1 or 2 throughout the entire map. That time at the start with Koff getting one onto all day really opened things out because that was their main IGL that we saw in the game. And then apart from that, it was win after win after win every time for Adrian Esports, and there was nothing. Even when we saw a potential for a comeback in, I think it was like round 6 or 7, that USI Esports were just taking it to task and didn't really have an answer for anything.
I know. I felt like I was just being, you know, dragged along, you know, feeling some sort of a hope, and it's gone. And it's gone. And it's gone. That's literally how it felt every single round. But I mean, Adrian Esports, you see right there, 5 rounds in a row, getting the win by eliminations. I mean, we talked about their slaying power in that first map, and it very much just translated over. No problem at all. No barriers. Just absolutely slammed in terms of the KDs, and goodness gracious, I mean, USI just were not able to react when it came down to it.
I'm really curious how now switching up to Vault, I believe it is, for Control, how things are going to change for these two teams, because looking forward, Vault, I feel like would favor Adrian Esports playstyle a little bit more, and it's Vault back-to-back, so it doesn't really bode too well for USI, excuse me. They did look good on the hard point, but because of how close that was, I'm not as confident as I once was after we saw the victory from USI Esports at the beginning of this series. So for that Vault Control, it's going to be do or die for them, because the slaying ability that we saw from Adrian Esports is going to play a crucial part here. And I feel like that B control point is going to be so difficult for USI to kind of push onto when they're on the attacking side.
It's definitely going to be a bit of an interesting one because of what we've seen and that level of ferocity out of the side of Adrian, and especially on that map like Vault, where, you know, everybody's just kind of going willy-nilly inside of the quite literal Vault. So you know, we're going to have to really see what these teams are going to be bringing in terms of heat for this one. But, you know, with that, ladies and gentlemen, both teams are going to be taking a bit of a break, so will we. So we'll be back after this short break for this map on Vault. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, 1-1 in the series. Quite a hot night indeed. Last matchup of the CCL for tonight. We're going to be going into Vault Control. Vaudable, give me a pulse check. How we feeling?
Feeling pretty solid. I mean, a little asleep after what we saw in Search and Destroy when we were wide awake and jazzed after the hard point. Just a bit of emotional whiplash that we saw between the two maps, but already a couple kills coming out in favor of USI Esports, and what a good start to this game for them.
Yeah, big ups, and so we will be seeing some fast gainage here on a bit of a UI glitch, but it's Call of Duty, you know. But that's 2 ticks now, and goodness gracious, Ken IQ and all day going in hand in hand. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn slicing it up, dicing it up. And at that point all day, you just got to pick a target. A little bit too much bite there towards the spawns. Reset this squad. Dusk is here trying to keep his team back alive, and we got a minute left to go.
Yeah, hasn't been too much to worry about for Adrian Esports after that rough start of theirs. Even up with the lives, and not really much control that we're seeing from USI Esports. They're getting a couple pushes here and there, but Brando making some space for them too. Ken IQ look to reap anything that they can in the mid of the map, but this is just a dominant performance so far by USI Esports, pushing back and taking control of A.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Dusk.
Yep, all right, Dust. I didn't know you had it like that, my boy. Goodness gracious, 18-17 in terms of the live counter, and USI are up, and you will be able to see them grab that A spot. That one was able to go onto the radar, but Meby's here toward the mid. Gonna see some opportunity, throws out a stun. Not gonna be able to get a tag on that one, so we're have to retreat the position. Try not to lose what land control we've already got.
I was saying, oh yeah, Adrian Esports, they look so good in Search and Destroy. They're going to look really good here with their slaying ability that they showed us. But instead, everyone on USI Esports decided to show up, other than Mebby, of course, but they're more of an entry SMG from what we've witnessed. Koff and Brando, the ones making moves for their team. 15-10, 5 live advantage, and they're trying to capture the big point currently. So this is a good spot for them. But Blue, Ken IQ looks to clean things up, at least for now.
Yeah, very nicely done, 11-8 right now, and 3 lives will be the differential. And look at the side of USI, and I mean, goodness gracious, some good slays out of the side of Brando and Ka. That'd be a little bit slower on the come up, but it's all good. We always need someone to anchor the spawns and get ourselves back into this position. So Koff's going to be able to get a kill, open up that one. 1-to-1 trade, 10-7 now. Looks for the second here, goes for a nade, tries to get the feet. Not enough. 10-7 still. We now have a bit of an opportunity here to kind of move ourselves, gravitate around that point on the side of USI, but shots will go through towards the mid palace, and right now it's just a life for life switch off.
Only one life remaining actually for every player on Adrian Esports. Now we have one down. Blue completely off the equation. They have to hold on as best they can for these 20 or some odd seconds, but they could not do it. USI Esports were able to capture the point right underneath their noses.
Goodness gracious right there. I mean, we talked about it, Bottom. We talked about it. Hey, you know, Adrian Esports, they came back. They kicked our expectations out with that search and destroy. And now just in this first round, we've just seen it be a USI master class. So let's see right now as we swap out the opposition. We'll see Adrian Esports on the attack and USI now on the defense. Do you think this level of aggression is starting to fade from the side of Adrian, or maybe a little bit of inability? What do you think about him?
I think they had a wake-up call in between the break where if USI Esports maybe just rallied together in a call and we're like, okay, you know, we got this in the bag. We can come back and showcase our skills to go all the way to 5 for the maps. But again, they got to start strong like they did in the first round of Control here. And we saw a couple good kills from them to start off strong there. But Adrian Esports taking their time and already capturing that first tick, looking for the second. Wow, Brando.
Goodness gracious. And a very convincing 3 right there. And Brando nicely done. Gets the 2. Grim as well on a 2 streak. Mebby with the 1 here. see what we can do. And right now, Brando's still going off. He switched over to that AR. Dusk opens up with some shots, and whew, that's going to be a bit of an interesting one. And we will be having that UI glitch one more time here from these players, but we'll call it as we see it. And so, nicely done. They clear out some of the tick gainage right there. 24-21. USI are up, and it's going to be a bit of a movement.
And IQ kind of struggling a little bit to finish off some of these kills as well. Not the best angles that we've seen from them, and not winning the gunfights either for all day. Really was like a clutch player for them in the past. So Blue did get one onto Brando that we saw. Ken IQ still looking for something and just can't catch a break here in these hallways.
Indeed. Well, that's going to be 2 ticks now for the side of Adrian. A little bit of some grooving and moving, but Koff's not phased by that movement. And so that's a 3 down now for the side of USI, and they'll be able to spawn back up. A has been acquired. And so we'll be seeing this pivot towards B. They stop the time immediately. 1 minute and 39 seconds. Meby's moving. Nicely done. That trophy's still on the site. Gonna need to get rid of that one. We're gonna need to nade it out soon, but it is a bit of a back and forth. Brando, nicely done. And a team nade comes through. Fortunately, slap in the back. We'll be able to reset, though. Just a bit of a cough.
Always rough to see those come through, especially when you only have so many lives available to you on control. Losing one to a team nade is not the best way to go, but already Adrian Esports just dropping like flies. 10 lives remaining, 5 lives different. Ken IQ really trying to change things up with the flank and can't even win that. Can't catch a break whatsoever.
And not indeed. And well, Meby's here towards the edge. We'll get the opening shots, but the spawns will do him dirty. We do see some trades go through, and Dusk will be able to hop on the site for now. We'll be able to make his way towards this first tick, but oh my gosh! Nades galore, looking like a VFX department in Hollywood. Goodness, 50 seconds left now, 10-3 in terms of the lives, and Valuable, goodness gracious, what is going on?
Yeah, nothing Adrian Esports can really do here. 2 lives remaining, 1 life remaining, and 9 lives available for USI Esports. With the time that is available, Blue has to completely clutch up and then some, and they're not going to be able to do that based on what we've seen so far. So USI Esports, they locked it down for a long time towards A. Took a while and a lot of lives for Adrian Esports to really get anything going into the start of this. And then the B site with the flanks that we saw from Meby proved to be enough, but Brando, you can see 22 and 10, really the MVP that we are witnessing currently with this 3-piece that we see from them to close things out.
Very nicely done out of the squad. And I mean, Adrian Esports just having a bit of a rough one now as we get back into the respawn. And, you know, riddle me this, Vaudable. Why is it when lives are coming in at a frequency of respawn, are we seeing a big shift on the side of Adrian versus when it's one life,
so
one
weird.
shot, all you got, word to Eminem, lose yourself in the moment, you know?
I feel like the slow pacing of Search and Destroy might just benefit the play style of Adrian Esports a bit better, and USI, they just aren't patient, and that's why just running and gunning's working out so well for them. They've been able to win the individual gunfights, and Vault, I feel like, favors them. By the way, we've seen them perform and already onto this capture point, trying to get the tiers as quickly as possible compared to what we saw from Adrian Esports, who struggled to really find their footing and get these kills when they matter. They got one, couldn't really get a couple more. We do see the feed benefit them though, so the flank from every player on Adrian Esports is what got them off that point, but a little too late because it's already captured.
Very nicely done out of the side of USI, and well, we're going to be having a bit of a swap here as pacing does slow down a bit. Grim, nicely done. 16 HP in a Dream, just going to play his life very nicely. Just got to slow it down. And IQ now towards the edge of the spawns will be applying some pressure to try to spawn these players out, but unfortunately, unbeknownst to him, it's actually just spawning right on him. So,
oh man,
they immediately sleuth him out and just send him packing back to the spawn. All the spawn players are now out, and they're able to get some breathing room here. And well, it's going to be Brando here towards the edge of the enemy spawn on Adrian's side. But no shots given, and goodness gracious, pistols galore.
He survived so much longer than I thought he would in that pistol battle from them. But even then, I gotta say, Ken IQ, again, when they were trying to get the spawn kills onto the side of USI Esports, still no luck whatsoever. Finally, we see a kill feed, at least for Adrian Esports' favor and advantage in live, 6 of them to their side. So it definitely benefits them to at least get a point on control, but they got to be careful about giving too much room to USI Esports, especially how effective they were previously at controlling that B site. Even then, I mean, the central positioning we're watching from Adrian Esports working out well enough. Mabby can't really do much to flank. Everyone else stuck towards their spawn for USI, and I think this might be in the bag if it continues this way for Adrian Esports.
Very much so, and 12-19 right now.
Wow.
And, oh my goodness, that's Dusk right there. Nicely done. 4th streak. Looking pretty good, but will be 27 seconds now. 9-18, quite literally a 9 life differential. And it looks as though that finally Adrian Esports got themselves a bit of a grip on this situation. So they're going to go through, and what looked like might have been Grim's end there. It's a bit of an opportunity. 12 seconds left. We got to get ourselves onto this point. Koff's here towards the edge. Try to facilitate for the squad, but they can't even pass through this A point. They will need a touch time, and Blue able to get that one. They will stop it. And so finally, Adrian Esports able to get themselves their first round.
Only 3 tiers given away as well. It was quickly given, but after that, there just seemed to be a complete windfall for the side of Adrian Esports and nothing that USI could do. Of course, we see the best play come out here. Some good kills from Brando earlier on, which really opened up some space for them to capture A, but B is always so tough, especially with so many good positions towards kind of the top of both of those buildings, and you can just position yourself where you can have the perfect sight lines onto B, and there's not really much that the teams can do to flank around and get underneath the noses of their opponents when you're so wide open when trying to capture that point.
Yeah, so now we're going to see what this new round can bring, as both squads are going to be making their way over here towards A. Nicely done, and a bit of a flank here going on, and goodness gracious, can I Q? Goodness. Just slides out, gets the kills towards the pool, and well, Adrian Esports now are 2 ticks in, already about to grab this third. Brando, nicely done, goes for the first, but will not be able to grab the second. A has been secured, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds and just a 4 life differential, Adrian Esports are smoothing.
What a comeback as well from Adrian Esports, but also Ken IQ. I mean, a lot more effective in this specific round of control than we've seen in previous ones. Still managed to stall out Brando as long as they could so that they could at least capture at least a tier on B and almost a second one even. But it does quickly get taken away. Brando basically waiting to try and win this gunfight and does manage to do so. But even then, has to back off, wait for some backup from their teammates, and some good positioning from Adrian Esports, who have plenty of time to work with and already a tier in their favor.
Very much so, and see right now Ken IQ going for this flank. We know that this player loves this position to uproot his enemies, and nobody was watching that one, unfortunately. So Ken IQ's now able to get some good opportunity, has the AR in hand. 16-21, the ticks are moving on B, and everybody's just spawning out. So this will be, unfortunately, an opportunity for the side of USI to lose it, and Brando's able to come back, and they try to hold this tick for now, and you got to slide through and win this if you're Mebby. Brando
so
comes in with the save.
Oh, puts out the trophy system at the wrong time, so that'll give plenty of room for Dusk to get onto it. Grim is forced to push on to the point as well with Koff, just to back them up and make sure that they can't capture it underneath their noses. But 2 players down, Brando's forced to move out instead, and this just trades back and forth, new players and new teams getting on top of the control point.
This is not very good for the side of USI right now, as now you've lost all the opportunity, and we keep giving Ken IQ this top position. Somebody's got to call the red alert already here, Vaudible.
That was nice to see from Adrian Esports. I mean, USI seemed so dominant in the first 2 rounds of control, but what a comeback by Adrian Esports, and specifically Ken IQ. I mean, we were talking about that, and you mentioned him. He loves this spot up here from what we saw. Blue, of course, was able to do some decent work, but even then, I mean, Ken IQ, I would say, was the most valuable player in this specific round of control with their Overwatch position they were able to hold on to. And even when we saw USI do everything that they could to push onto that B point, just proved to not be enough for them. So we'll see how things go down this time, but looking pretty solid for Adrian Esports to take a lead in at least this control round and move forward with a 2-1 lead in the series.
Very much so. Here we go now. 2-2. Gonna be blue here towards the edge, getting caught out. Nades will fly through, and that's gonna be a huge opportunity for him to grab 2. And well, that's 4. And this defense is looking good, as now we're gonna start pushing up on the side of 7 and 6 here, Duskin all day. Or just putting that pressure in, and you only got a minute here if you are on the side of USI. And what was those 2 dominant rounds and some body shots out of Ken IQ, and well, there comes the retaliatory nade from above.
It's gonna hurt the ego a little bit there, but
oh yeah,
defense coming out from Dusk there for now. Gotta see what the strategy is gonna be from USI Esports, who've been struggling to really find anything once they get that A point controlled, but haven't even been able to do anything. It's just been the Adrian Esports volley back, as they have not had anything to really worry about. Solid positioning here with their jackals that we've been seeing from Dusk and Ken IQ have really been the ones making their presence known so far. Brando used to be the MVP, I would say, on USI Esports. Relatively silent though recently.
Yeah, a bit of a quiet moment here, silencing, if you will. And well, the shots are going to go through, and all day just slides in, gets those kills. And I mean, goodness gracious, Vaudable. What was a really dominant beginning for the side of USI. Immediately just horse reverse kick, roundhouse, and they jump out trying to get something. And the roundhouse kick to the teeth, just bring it. And Adrian Esports, 3 in a row.
Oh man, not even a tear that we really got to see. Basically because it's great, so he's not entirely sure, but we couldn't do anything to even get the first point that they were so consistent with for USI. And we saw Dusk, names are kind of glitched because that's how it goes, be the one to really step up yet again for their team. Dusk, I mean, making waves for their squad, and huge victory there for Adrian Esports, who seemed after the first 2 rounds of control that he had nothing that they could do.
Nothing really. And I mean, goodness gracious. So now Adrian Esports come back in a dominant fashion there, 3 in a row, get themselves that victory, set themselves up at match point now, 2-1. They just need this next vault hard point to go in their favor. We saw how it went last time, Vaudable. Yep. We saw how it went. We know what these players are capable of.
We do know what these players are capable of. But again, I mean, Adrian Esports have proven that they have that resiliency. And that's what marks a great team compared to a good team. When you're able to come back, not give up on yourselves, and choose a different strategy. And really, we just saw better luck too as well from some of the players at Adrian Esports. It was such a rough going of it for Ken IQ for such a long time. Then finally, they were able to contribute a little bit more with Dusk, who was my MVP for Vault Control.
And the biggest thing that I want to point out here is, you know, the feeling right now on the side of Adrian Esports. I mean, they're feeling good. They're hooting and hollering. If we could get like a view in their facilities or wherever they are, I mean, they're probably hooting and hollering right now. They're getting loud and proud. I mean, after being down to 0-2 and feeling that problem overhead on the horizon, that, hey guys, we might not win this. And just everybody in agreement in that moment, just realizing we have to lock in. And they go insane.
USI need to lock in. I thought they had it. It's like, oh wow, they're looking so good in the first 2 rounds of control, and then they couldn't do anything. It was so rough.
It really was. And that's why it hurts on an observational standpoint, especially from us casters, to be able to see some saplings of dominance come in from that first map, and then immediately just a bucket of lava coming in from the side of Adrian Esports, just slamming it down. But I mean, it really goes to show that expertise, like you said, of the teams. I mean, Adrian Esports, they've got the tenacity, they've got that drive, they've got that will to survive, the indomitable human spirit out of them, just really showing up, going crazy with those 3 in a row. Now they get themselves into the position to end this matchup with a potential 3-1. But USI, you came out strong. You did your job. You worked as a team on that first hard point. We're going back to hard point. A potential for this team to really show up, get themselves back into that narrative. Now, granted, map 5,
Yeah, search and destroy. I
Have
mean, based on how we
5.
saw it before, that's going to be rough. On protocol 2, wide open sight lines as well. So that's going to be a tough going of it for USI Esports, because I would say Adrian Esports have them beat every day of the week in the AR game from what we've witnessed so far, especially with all day. But again, this is where they have to adapt and overcome in this map. Again, back-to-back vaults for Hardpoint this time. Maybe Hardpoint is their objective mode that they love the most, and we saw some good momentum from them. I mean, looking back at the stats from the last time between these two teams, really the first couple of Hardpoints that we saw go in the favor of USI Esports, and afterwards Adrian were able to kind of bounce back and forth here and there until USI were able to overcome towards the end. But now we're on Hardpoint again. This might be more of a comfort zone for USI Esports, for them to get a windfall that they need to at least force this to a map 5, and they want that, especially after getting basically reverse swept in that control.
Yeah, essentially so. 3-0'd when it mattered. Shout out to Draza. But now we get ourselves here into this opportunity. Vault 2-1. Adrian Esports here. Gonna need to just put that final nail in the coffin here, Vaudable. What are we feeling, Vaudable, going into this one? What are you thinking right now?
Oh, man. I mean, looking at the specific positionings for the hard points compared to what we saw with where these players really like to find themselves on Vault before, I feel like T1 is definitely going to benefit Adrian Esports. And seeing the first blood already going in their favor, I mean, this is expected from them.
Very much so. And well, here we go now. Shots will go through. Nicely done out of dusk. Goes out with a bang, but here we go. Adrian Esports already kind of keeping themselves on that lead, but it's going to be Mebby and Co. trying to get these kills to just really force these players back. Players got on the hill, and now Ken IQ. Oh, my goodness. Just getting slayed out now. Adrian Esports, you know, how you going to hate outside the club? You can't even get in.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, they've been looking really good in the center area of the map before on Vault, and they were feeling really confident there on control at least, but maybe not on Hardpoint. Something's in the air for Hardpoint for USI, and what a lead that they've gotten themselves, the largest lead we have seen on Hardpoint so far since we saw them play against each other earlier on. So good first point. Second point is going to be so crucial for Adrian Esports to get onto it early and lock it down, but there's only a single player that we have there so far, and they really need some backup and fast, and thankfully they're able to move through the pool area to get there.
Very nicely done. And so Adrian Esports, they get themselves onto the point here, and whoo, Ken IQ, goodness gracious, a little bit more than you could chew right there, but smart enough, he will be backing out. Nades will go through, and all day's here. Shots will go through.
Wow.
Dusk with a 3. And Koff's just here towards the top pool, just waiting his angle. Just trying to get something to roll, but Koff now here towards the back end. But unbeknownst to us, that's going to be a lead swap. But the trash time will be able to keep USI back in the lead. So Ken IQ, we know he loves that spot there. He loves that mansion spot there. Goodness gracious. He's going back to it already. Set up to watch over his teammates, and off we go into this next hill. A complete wipe on the side of USI.
What a comeback, though, by Adrian Esports in that P2. Not really much of a push at all from USI Esports until Koff towards the end, and already the transition onto that P3. So this is huge for them to get a lead that we saw be so monumental for USI Esports at the start, but just goes to show you can lock things down long enough on another point and you're still in the competition. Not too much to worry about. With how back and forth both these teams have been, though, not surprised that it switched hands as quickly as it did.
Here we go now. Rim here towards the edge. Be able to get a kill. Nicely done. Gets that 18 seconds of scrap time. And you see Ken IQ there just menacingly waiting on that top perch right there, but will not be able to get the kill, as you will be giving up that time. They facilitate themselves into this transition of rotation, and well, it's going to be none other than a 3 down for the side of Adrian Esports. They get themselves into the hill. Nicely done. They will be able to potentially get the lead back in their favor. A bit of a SWIP swap, if you will.
I do like how they kind of prioritized the P4, gave up pretty much completely that P3 that we saw as well. Knew that they had better positioning already established. Maybe with the flank, though, some trades coming out, still locking things down as best they can, and push that we're having to see towards the pool side of things, just into the firing squad from Adrian Esports. One might survive for now, but not long enough for them to even get anywhere towards the objective. And this is a good comeback from Adrian Esports, taking it one hard point at a time and focusing on the ones that they know they can lock down. Ooh, that was a crucial gunfight.
Very nicely done. Exactly. Crucial as can be. We saw USI grab that scrap last time, not this time around. So Top's going to go through. Bit of a interesting moment there, not choosing to aim down sight, but goodness gracious, Bottle. We're just throwing the standard operating procedure out the window for this one.
We are. We very much are. These teams are tired, maybe because it's a little bit later, but they are in the Midwest Metro Conference, so can't be too tired. Though it is maybe a case of the Mondays for these squads. Either way, though, Adrian Esports going to lock things down back on P1 yet again for their objective, where last time they didn't look as strong, and already we see some pushes in from Mebby, flank Maestro on USI Esports, looking for another kill. Can get it, but can't stay alive long enough, and Adrian Esports still racking up the points left and right.
Oh my goodness. And you just see back and forth we go, left, right, up, down, left's jabs. And I mean, all these players are just going in and out. We're checking angles that don't even have players there. We are tweaking right now. And Adrian Esports, 133-79, biggest lead, bigger than before now. And USI, well, they finally get themselves a bit of breathing room here, Vaudable. They have an opportunity. They can get themselves back into this opportunity of gaining some points.
That they can. It's been 3 points though, or 2 points at least. We haven't seen them get anything so far, so nice for them to actually be able to lock something down. Adrian Esports, knowing how difficult it kind of is to push into this area, waiting for the time to strike though, in a pincer maneuver, taking down at least the person on the hard point. Can't stay alive long enough, but all day we'll be able to get at least a kill to hold on and get some more points in their favor, racking up that lead even more so against USI Esports.
You know, funny enough, we didn't see that player that was flanking around on all day, but I was ready to comment. You know, Casper just got peppered like some Swiss cheese right there, but it's all good. We keep ourselves back in the narrative now. Blue, goodness gracious, almost gets the snap on, but it's Casper once again who gets that one. The brunt end of it, but 92-170 we go. Adrian Esports quite literally more than 80 points on the board for them. KenIQ once again. Vaudable, somebody's got to take note that KenIQ is going to hit this perch.
Mebby's going for it again. They've been pretty consistent with it, but they get stunned at the last second. Their teammate, I think, bailing them out there for a moment, so it works out in their favor. That's unfortunate for Mebby, but very fortunate for KenIQ to hold things down. They really just wanted this time to run down. They don't really care too much about securing this objective. You do see, though, the players on USI realizing their mistakes in the last one, that they need to take out KenIQ in some capacity and get as many points on this objective here as well.
Oh
but
my.
Again, KenIQ cannot be stopped on this perch.
he is in love with this perch, man. He is quite literally the gargoyle holding it down for the building. So, hey, big ups to him. Who am I to judge? But let's get this one rolling as we get towards this next hill. Already the side of Adrian Esports. When you have KenIQ holding that back lane,
oh no,
it's just an easy one. And here he is again. He's back at his building. He's got a 10% damage boost here. Just going willy-nilly. 200-point threshold will be crossed from the side of Adrian Esports. And my goodness, USI, they're stuck in the building. They know that KenIQ's here.
He's playing tower defense at this point. Got all his monkeys upgraded. Nothing to really worry about. Playing some balloons. But even then, USI Esports running into the spikes every time. They can even get towards the objective, and nothing to really work with every time they push towards it. Trades happening a couple of times, but still locked down. The last, what was it, 5 objectives have been dominated by Adrian Esports. Even when they gave a little bit of it for P3 in the air for USI Esports, it wasn't much. It was just an appetizer for them, and that's all they're going to have for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't no Chili's triple dipper, I'll tell you that. So let's get this one rolling now. 112-240. Our last shot for the side of USI as they hold this P1, and all day just rocking it with the team, but we'll get knifed out. And here we go. Now slides through with the kills. Dusk, nicely done. Looks for the third. Ooh. It's going to be Brando, though. Nicely done, a.k.a. Grim. We'll be throwing some nades. Slides through, gets the kill, and my goodness, at this point, it feels like our nose is barely above water, and that's going to be a 3 down. Shots will go through. Casper gets lit up, and Adrian Esports, that is going to be the one for them. Brando's the last person. Tries to slide through, and it's not enough. Word to Kendrick Lamar. Adrian Esports now 3-1 take the series.
Much more dominant performance as the series went along for Adrian Esports. They had a bit of a stumbling in control at the start, and then they realized, oh yeah, we were kind of asleep at the wheel ourselves, and who else but NIQ to be the one, our savior, our tower defense gargoyle for this team to really keep them on the objective as long as they needed for such a dominant lead. We saw a good lead at the start from USI, but then NIQ was like, hey, I got this one, team. And was able to just be off the hill the entire time. You only see the 12 seconds for them. It didn't matter because they were locked in on their perch, ready for anyone to show up in front of them and just gun them down.
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, Vaudable, that's just down to teamwork and communication right there. If you, for a fact, know that you are getting slayed out from top perch and every single, rotation, transition, you gotta just take note. You just gotta take note. Hey, guys, crazy thought. I think Ken IQ's up there.
Don't go the same way.
Let's not go that way, guys. How about we maybe, I don't know, let's go through Vault, something's got to give, as they say. Something's got to give. But Adrian Esports coming out big after that first map loss. Unfortunately, it was just a handful of point differential and to USI Esports. And I mean, my goodness gracious, even the cat smells that dead fish in the air right now.
Oh, he was just being a rat the entire time, and nobody was going to be putting up some delicious cheese for him to fall victim to. So instead, it would be Adrian Esports with a valiant victory towards the end in Vault, and nothing that USI Esports could do to recover. I mean, we saw a little bit of life from them at the beginning of Vault Control. They looked confident, especially in that first round, but then it was business as usual for Adrian Esports, and they stay undefeated for now, 3-0 on the season in week 2 of competition.
Yep, very much so. They keep going through. So the slammage, the absolute just beat down that we just witnessed will facilitate them on their journey here in the CCL, and some cheeses in the air. We can tell. I know the gatito knows. The cat knows. The cat knows.
They sniff it out.
they sniff it out. They know something's in the air. So that was an absolute just great series. I'm glad that it wasn't a 3-0 because we got to see some good back and forths, some good matchups here tonight. But I mean, Vaudable, what was the opportunity cost that you think that we lost just in this moment? What was it out of USI that really just bang put that nail in the coffin for them?
Not being able to take Ken IQ out of his perch the entire time, especially in Vault's hardpoint. I mean, we saw a bit of a transition in Vault Control where I feel like they lost control of that entire map afterwards. They got the first objective pretty confidently in that round 3, and then afterwards they couldn't really do anything about it. So a rough spot for them, and I think they just kind of need to work on their control game a little bit more, especially on Vault, because the hardest objective for people to capture is B, and they were prioritizing A so much more so that they just had no positioning afterwards towards B, and it just ruined the day for them. And when Adrian Esports came back, there was nothing that they had to show afterwards.
Very much so. I agree with a whole heart. And well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for tonight here at the College COD League. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to commentate over these games for you, to be able to break it down molecularly. But I've been your host, OG Susano. This is my co-caster, Vaudable, the Mad Lad himself. You all have a wonderful night. We'll be seeing you all very soon. And without further ado, have a great night and goodbye.